Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 572. My name is John Morgan, and cold coffee is with me on a beautiful Sunday afternoonish, morning, whatever, around that time. We've been sitting here just shooting the shit for a while, so it's getting later in the day. Later in the week than normal. And we'll get into all that. It's been a very, very busy week for both of us, and we'll get into all of it. But not only is it later than normal, I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm a guy that doesn't care about dates too much and these kind of things, but I want to say, it's my birthday!
It's your birthday! Happy birthday!
I appreciate it.
Happy birthday!
Having you know me. I would never be imbibing in frosty beverages too early in the day. Of course, you know what I mean. I set very harsh limits. It's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? But it's my birthday, so maybe a little frosty beverage, maybe a little dark liquor on the side here.
Yeah. Maybe I had the coffee with the. Was that
a little Kahlua? Maybe I finished off the bottle of Kahlua that you had. By the way, that sounds a lot, but
it was almost done.
It was literally like one shot of Kahlua.
It was almost done.
But yeah, so it's my
you were doing me a favor by getting rid of it.
It was. It had been sitting there for a while. Yeah, and I was. It's funny. Like and my wife will certainly attest this. My wife is big on well, first of all, her birthday is huge to her, but events and holidays and all this, and I'm just like, I don't know why. I don't know if it was my upbringing or what. Like, I don't care. It's just a day. Like,
you've had so many of them, at some point.
I see what you did there, and you're older than me, so the hell with you. No, I don't mean just my birthday, but just even holidays and stuff. Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I live my life pretty fun and kind of just do whatever I want to do. So it's not like I need. Today is what? Oh, well, we can do this today. I just kind of do whatever.
I need a reason to drink. Right. Here we go.
I don't just mean drinking. I mean just life in general. I just kind of do hey, you want to do this? Let's go do that. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. But it's my birthday. And
very cool.
We would not. The streak 11 years at this point. We're not letting it go.
We were worrying some folks. What's funny, I felt bad. People started reaching out, and I was like, I put the tweet. I literally was like, Jay, you got to put a fucking tweet out, and I'll retweet it or whatever, and hoping that people would see it. But some of the folks missed it, and then they hit us up directly. I was like, oh no, they're doing the check
in on you, make sure
quality of life or checking for life signs or whatever. I was like, oh no, they missed the message. But yeah, I mean, when we were trying to get it done,
on Thursday.
On Thursday, that didn't work out, and then we were like,
tried to go Friday.
We tried to go Friday morning, then or Friday afternoon, or I can't remember what time. But you were just like, oh no, because after the weigh-ins, we were trying for 1 p.m. local.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, my schedule's bunk. He's like, can we try to do it in I guess Sunday, and I was like, well, you got to send a message because the folks are going to be worried. But yeah, I mean, stuff happens. I mean, I know you were busy. I mean, I know you wouldn't ask to change it if it,
Well, and again, I'm widely open about this, is that my CFFC schedule, I do a lot, and I love it. I'm not complaining about it, but make that very clear. I love it. But it does make it a little tough when I'm gone on fight week. But normally, on fight day, I get a few hours to myself. This fight day was a little bit tough because we were in not a new venue, but we hadn't been in this venue in 3 years. So that means everybody that's working, man, all the cable runs, just everything that you do is a little bit different, right? Because you haven't been in that venue. And we were using a new production truck, I should say. Most of our team was still the same. So there were just so many variables. And so because we were a little bit behind on schedule, and if anybody watched, and we had some technical difficulties off the start. We ironed them out, but we had some technical challenges off the start. So attesting to, you can see why I wasn't able to be like, hey, you know what? We're a little behind on our production setup right now, but I'm going to duck over here and do a podcast for about an hour,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I thought you were just busy dancing with the karate hottie, beforehand.
Okay, so this two things.
She
funny.
is a bundle of energy.
Michelle Watterson
amazing.
is the best. I should say Michelle Watterson Gomez. Let's give the husband the property, but we all know her, Michelle Watterson. But Karate Hottie is the best. She's fantastic. And she asked me, she was like, hey, would you do like a dumb little TikTok dance with me or whatever? And I was like, for you? I'm like, oh, of course, I will. So it's funny. So we did that. And obviously a little goofy or whatever, but whatever. I'm having fun. She's awesome. So I did. My wife, when I got home, she was like, you wouldn't do a TikTok dance with me. I'm like, no, you're right.
Has she ever asked you to do it?
She's asked me to do stuff, and I'm like,
no.
You know what I mean? She's like, oh, this is the trend or whatever. I'm like, I don't give a, you know what I mean? So it was funny. She gave me some grief, obviously being nice and fun, but she gave me some grief. She's like, you wouldn't do that with me. I'm like, no, you're right. I wouldn't.
This is the new you. It's birthday you. The birthday you from this point on might do that. Maybe
nobody break out any phones or cameras.
But you know, it's funny because I've seen her grow her own little social and putting some stuff out there. You know, nothing better than putting her and her man out there dancing. And I saw the moves. But no, it's funny. I saw that. I literally started laughing. But I could definitely see that this was Michelle's doing. This was not a you saying, "Hey, we should do a video together." This was her like, "John, you need to do this with me."
I'll be honest with you. So she was like, "Will you do this?" And I'm like, "Of course." And it's work, right? It's promoting our event. Like I knew what she was doing. Like, it's promoting our event. She put me as a collaborator on it, right? And I'll be honest with you. I did think twice about accepting the collaboration.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, this isn't really me. Like, I would never do this. You know what I mean? But so if I almost didn't, and I was like, nah, like who cares, right? Don't think too serious about yourself.
That's
like,
it. That's it. And I mean, you really shouldn't. I mean, like it's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people do that. And there's times where I was actually just thinking about this the other day, or actually this morning. All my Instagram, for the most part, is forward facing. It's the fighters. It's whatever. It's just because I always want to put out my work. But I realize that once people start seeing you, more people are inclined to want to connect and then follow along the journey. So I realize if I start putting myself in there more, I think I would see the channel. Not that I care, but I mean, I do look at the number and I'm like, I bet if I put more of me that people would do that. And I think it's the same thing for you as well. I'm like, you don't, I mean, you're like me where I don't really care to make it all about me. If I'm going to highlight, I want to highlight maybe an interview I did with a fighter and that sort of stuff. And I think that's fun. But at some point, it's like, why not? Why not just have a little fun and just let loose? Because at the end of the day, it's social media. It's not like this is something I'm turning in for a grade or that's going to be the full embodiment of me.
But it's always been, I wouldn't be on social media just as a person, but my social media has always been a professional representation of what I'm doing. So I'm the same as you. Exactly right. You go through my feed, you're going to see fighters, cages, you know what I mean? Like I'm just covering the sport, but I do think maybe I have to change my perception of that. They're like, nah, maybe it should just be about you. And
I mean, if people enjoy it, I mean, I know we constantly think the people that, hop along and have joined us for the Patreon and stuff, out of just like helping support us and be whatever, and a lot of those I think feel like friends that even though a lot of them we've never met in person. Yeah. So sometimes, I feel like, I want to show more like of that other sort of side of stuff that you don't ever really do. It's just me getting comfortable like doing what I never put anything out there.
Are you telling me you want to do a TikTok dance right now?
Just a birthday dance. No, not right now. But maybe someday I'll post
having
something.
Michelle Watterson in it helps a little bit with the views.
100%. And like she's cute.
She's the best.
Like all I post is like pictures of food and fighters. I'm like maybe I can branch out a little bit and show something.
Michelle's great. Her energy is so good, and she is so. I mean, obviously we covered so much of her career.
Yeah.
But that person that we always saw in front of the camera at interviews, that's her 100% of the time. Yeah. Like literally, she's not putting on a show. She literally just earnest. We had some technical challenges. Unflapped it, like did not care at all, like no hesitation, no diva, no concern, no frustration, just like all right, whatever it is, let's roll with it. Like she's fantastic, man. I love working with her.
No, it's funny because I was watching the stream and then you had some people like it was fun having fun like in the like some people were playing along, others were like, "Where's the sound?"
Yeah, we started out with no audio, unfortunately.
And so it's funny. I had at one point I was trying to put like the whole Batman thing. I went pow, smash, kapow, but people didn't get the humor. So I'm all way too old, and they never heard or saw any of the
original Batman
stuff.
I used to love that show. The original Batman,
it was incredible. Smash, pow.
That was funny.
But it was cool because people were still into it, So even if there's, technical thing, it still looked great, just stuff happened. And they got it sorted, I think, by the second fight or whatever.
The issues mostly lied on the audio side. The video side looked great. We got a call this week to kind of break down everything and where the challenges were and how we correct it for next time out or whatever. But everybody on the video side, the camera side, the lighting side, like it looked fantastic. The audio issues were causing it, which is it's challenging.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like you said, you were trying out a new production truck, and things can happen. And some stuff you could test it, and you think everything's good. But go time, it's
wild, man.
It's so fun. Happen.
It's funny because you and I have worked together for a long time, so you know how much and I know that the fans there was some frustration. I get it, man. Trust me, nobody's harder than us on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I was so at the end.
Well, it's funny because even some of the fans were like, because somebody was like, man, they're like, I subscribed to OnlyFans for this, and then you hear other fans are like, bitch, this channel's free. like, shut up. The shit you paying for ain't this. Go back to your paid one or whatever.
That's hilarious.
But it's kind of funny, yeah. I mean, people get it. You know, like it's hard to bitch at people for free content and something goes wrong and they're like, oh, how dare you have mistakes, and like,
but we still want to deliver. We still want to deliver, man. We still want to deliver. It was a great show, by the way. For anybody that didn't catch CFFC 151, check out the replay. The main card is on Fight Pass. The prelims are on OnlyFans. I'm going to get
there were some great fights.
Oh my God, from the start. Iman Hardy looked amazing against Malcolm Wallace, who was spectacular. Fadi Elsini and Cody Porter had amazing. I mean, the prelims were on point, and then the main card was spectacular as well. Lucas Cortez and Christian Carr both start out the night with knockouts with elbows, including Lucas Cortez from the bottom. Bro.
That was ridiculous.
That was crazy.
That was nuts.
That was so crazy.
Because that's the only, if anybody wants like a reference, I mean, there was but he did his with fists is when Kevin Holland was on his back and knocked out Jacare.
Yep.
But that was with a fist. I don't think that was an elbow,
right.
But I could be wrong. But just seeing it, it makes no sense when you're watching. Like, how can you generate that much power and knock out the person that's on top of you?
Crazy. And that was the moment I thought Michelle was spot on. She was watching we were watching the replay, and she was talking about how look at the way he's torquing his entire body, the torso. So that's what's generating. I'm like, that's such a good little observation, right? Because need that ab strength, right? Because it's one thing to be on bottom and just throwing elbows, but that's just arm. But the fact that he's moving his whole body, that's what's generating the power. So that was great. Ronald Humphrey with the knockout of Liam Hamilton. That was a tough one. I knew whichever way that one ended, I was going to feel bad one way or the other because I was so invested in both those guys as undefeated prospects, both with MMA ties. You know, Matt Hamill's nephew.
It was cool seeing Matt there. It was cool seeing Matt there.
Matt was getting a lot of love, a lot of respect.
And I like that I saw on the broadcast they said that there was somebody there that was signing or whatever because they brought a lot of people, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Super cool. So what happened was, and I don't know if it was Liam or Matt, but somebody got started. In fact, it may not have been them. Maybe it was a fan. I'm not sure. But obviously Matt Hamill, old school fans, of course, remember Matt Hamill, the Ultimate Fighter 3, fought in the UFC 15 times. He was deaf, and so he has or still is deaf, of course, but he has a connection to the deaf community, and so I guess they kind of reached out, and somehow, so we ended up with like 25 deaf fans that bought tickets to come see the show, to come support Matt Hamill and the community and all that sort of thing. And so they brought in, we did, because they were bringing 25 people in. They let us know, hey, by the way, we're bringing in 25 people from the deaf community. Can you help us out with an ASL interpreter? And so us in the venue, the Hard Rock, they brought in an American Sign Language interpreter, and then they also put them all in a section together so that they could have an interpreter throughout the night, signing for them.
So would they just sign what the announcer and going in the ring would say?
Yeah, because I was a little bit scared. I'm like, you're going to make them sign the entire broadcast? No, but they would sign with the...
because they would never... It
would be impossible.
Yeah, especially with two speakers. It would be hard to follow.
I would feel horrible for that person.
Yeah, because if you can't see who you're signing, you wouldn't realize that the conversation was switching between people or whatever. So, but that's why oftentimes you'll see multiple sign language interpreters when you have different speakers to help separate the two or whatever.
So basically anything that was announced is so any video packages that had audio, that pre-recorded audio, because we don't.
Oh, that's good.
Because we don't play the broadcast in the building, right? That's only when you're watching at home. So anything that was pre-recorded that had audio that was being addressed to the crowd, or anytime Dr. David Sarnoff was on the mic and announcing things, whether it be the introductions, the results, whatever, they were signing it all.
The whole event.
The whole event.
That's
super cool, man. It was super cool to see, and like I said, Matt was getting a ton of love as he walked around there, and so I was bummed that obviously a bummed for Liam anytime you see somebody come, but Ronald Humphrey looks like he's going to be a legitimate prospect.
Because it was pretty quick. I mean, that was an impressive fight.
Marquez Forrest got a big win there. Marquez Forrest got a big win after looking like he was going to be choked out in the fight. I thought he was done. I thought two rear naked chokes early on. He battles back, gets a decision win. Jackson Stanford went to 3-0 over Anthony Garasio. Bummed for Anthony Garasio. I wouldn't say controversy, just because it wasn't. It was the right call that was made. It was just in live
in
action.
The moment,
you weren't sure.
It looked like it possibly could have been a legal knee, but after the fact, that's always one of those ones where if a fighter maybe has clear knowledge of like, hey, bro, this was clean. Like, are you sure?
Got to battle on.
Are you sure you don't want to? Because if not, it's going to get called against you. And yeah, it's tough. I mean, because I like his energy. I like it. I mean, he's so. Right before the fight, you just see him sort of staring across the cage, and he's just walking. You could tell he's just there to murder somebody, But,
dialed in, but got caught. But you know what? I thought so. This was the first time I'd seen Jackson Stanford live. It was the first time he was debuting for us. I thought he was smart. Like, he's a big dude, couple of knockouts, 2-0 with 2 knockouts, but realized I think my advantage here is going to be wrestling. You know what I mean? So came in, got the big takedown early, and then the knees and the scramble. So big win for him, and now it looks like Vitor Hacinde as the new champion, taking out Larry Gonzalez. Very, very close decision there, but it could have gone either way. It went to Vitor Hacinde. I don't think it's a bad call, but now it looks like maybe Vitor Hacinde, Jackson Stanford.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job of just like calling a shot right then, and then Rob Hayek just dragged him in there and said, "We're gonna make this face-off happen."
I love it, man. Rob's like, let's put this together. So now we'll talk with the matchmakers and see if that's. But why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not? That makes sense.
It's funny because as opposed to like say like the UFC when Dana's off to the side and somebody brings somebody in and he's like, "Why did you bring him in? Now I got to deal with that." This would be the equivalent of Dana dragging somebody into the ring and
so
literally
great.
Like. But it's funny because like when you watch the post-fight interview. With Vitor, after they sort of like get ready, you see Jax come over and like tap him on his shoulder, and like Vitor looks aside like first you can see like the shock of like, wait, who's tapping me? And he's like, oh hey, cool. But
because he's like warming up, he probably didn't even realize like who that is. You know what I mean?
What's going on? It's pretty funny.
Good stuff. It was a good event. It was a very, 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 very fun event. But anyway, all that was going on was why we couldn't do Thursday, we couldn't do Friday, and then we said let's do Sunday, even though it's my birthday, and even though I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably more. So I didn't even sleep after the event because I was supposed to have a late night flight. I ended up moving to the morning because like weather was really bad and there's all this TSA stuff going on and whatever.
TSA stuff is nuts.
So I was like, you know what? I'm better off moving to the morning. Moved my flight to the morning, came home. I was exhausted yesterday. I'm probably more tired today because I did like come home, maybe got a little nap or whatever. Watched all the UFC fights that we'll talk about. Great card. Watched all the fights. But then I stayed up last night from like midnight till 2 a.m. to watch the F1 race in China with my kid because my kid's like super into F1. And originally I was supposed to get home around midnight, so I promised him, I was like, look, why don't you pick me up from the airport? We'll come home and we'll watch the race. And so we'll watch the race together because I was going to be coming home. I ended up coming home like 12 hours early, but I'd already made that promise to him, like, we'll watch the race together. And I didn't want to be like, well, now it's less convenient for me, so I'm not going to watch the race together. So we watched the F1 race together, and it was
good for you.
Yeah,
good on you to stay up and do it.
I'm starting to, and now I'm becoming an F1 fan because of my kid likes racing so much.
Well, good for that. Yeah. Good for that. Well, F the F1.
Well. It was cool. Kimmy Antonelli.
It's really cool when it's over in
when it's
not
places. In Vegas.
When it's other places.
When it's not shutting down our roads.
Do whatever.
You know what's crazy in China? They built a track.
Did they?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
They didn't use street roads.
Imagine
they built a track. And people can go and they can park their cars.
Whoa.
And they can walk in the stands.
Whoa.
Doesn't shut any roads down.
The thought of it just boggles the mind.
I mean, but here is us as long-term Vegas residents. I mean, where would you build it? There's no land around here available.
There's no extra space just sitting anywhere on the outskirts.
It's not like we live in one of the least sparsely populated states in the nation with just sprawling amounts of land available to construct whatever you like.
Do people complain about the scenery? Do they say that there's not enough to look at there?
There's no hotels on this track.
There's no hotels. Where's that ball that has that giant, fake driver head? It's just whatever.
Too funny.
Well, I'm glad you guys got something to bond over and do that kind of stuff. That's fun. At the end of the day, that's all. That's what it's about.
This kid, by the way, like I said, I'm still learning about F1. Very much new to the sport or whatever, but I am enjoying watching. Again, it's bonding with my kid or whatever. But this kid that won last night, so he set a record. He was the youngest ever to qualify on the pole, and he won the race. But this kid, Kimmy Antonelli, 19 years old.
Wow.
19. There's another kid that's even younger than him. You have 18 and 19-year-olds out there driving these cars, man, like crazy high level.
So this is just another thing where you watch young people on poles. Look at you.
Well done, sir.
I got a joke for your birthday.
Done, bro. Go. That was good.
Let's go.
All right, listen. All right, crazy week. Let's start with the UFC. We kind of ran through CFFC. Obviously, a great card. Please watch the replay if you didn't check it out on UFC Fight Pass. We would certainly appreciate it. Michelle Watterson crushed it with me. But this UFC card last night, man, I didn't have a credential to it because I didn't expect to be actually. Like I said, I wasn't supposed to be home till midnight, and then even once I got home, like I was so tired. I didn't want to go, but I did watch everything on TV. And I mean, you were there live, but this card, I mean, for a card that I thought had very, very little expectations coming into it, and we didn't get to preview it. Maybe it's better that we got to do it in post than preview because I think this card delivered. I was very excited. I'm very high, and obviously Kevin Vallejos obviously looks like the man. I was very, very fired up as well. For a couple of the big fights in there. Manuel Sosa versus Balaji Oki. Manuel Sosa came through CFFC.
Yep. He is a beast.
He is a monster. And against Balaji Oki, I thought that was going to be very, very exciting. And I was very excited about Bia Mesquita as well because I think she looks very much like the real deal. So all those kind of premonitions or my feelings going into it, I thought all those delivered. But this damn card, like some of the fights I wasn't even really thinking that much about. This was good. From start to finish, I saw people on social media saying, maybe best UFC event of the year so far. I mean,
there were definitely some good scraps. Right from the get-go. I mean, I thought the Piera Rodriguez and the Sam Hughes fight was fun. Piera is another one. I mean, she's
solid too.
She is solid. She is super dominant, man, and she gave a fun little interview. The Sosa Lacerda fight I thought was a great fight. That was a banger. I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, Eric Anders, he calls it a day after a fight where
what a fight.
It looked
what
incredible.
A fight.
I was just like, bro, this was probably one of your best fights that you've done in a while against a rock solid Brad Tavares. I had that as in the running. I thought for like a potential fight of the night.
I agree
because I thought that one was like, I'm not mad about the one that got it, but I mean, it would have been cool, especially knowing that Anders was leaving.
That's one of those ones that was hard for me going in to watch because I like both the guys so much, right? Like Eric Anders, obviously been around forever. He's come and grappled out at CFFC like multiple times. Just a good dude. Did you know he played football? No,
I did. And did you know that he had wrestled, or whatever? He kept saying that. He's like, don't sleep on my wrestling.
I love Eric Anders. And then meanwhile, Brad Tavares, man, like obviously Brad is a staple of the community here in Vegas. He lives very close to me. Like I see him at the park right by my house. I mean, run into him outside of fighting, but I'll never forget because he was on The Ultimate Fighter and he was one of the casts they let us talk to. And I remember him moving out here and talking about working for Hawaiian Airlines to help fund his passion for fighting so that he, A, could make some money, but B, could get back and forth to Hawaii for cheap because it made sense for him to work for the guy. I mean, just shit like that is cool. You know what I mean? So to see these two dudes going at it and then Eric Anders' call a career was cool. I
mean, Brad just got his 50 test, jacket or whatever, and he could have got it probably earlier. But they said for so long that they knew that he was going to be good, so they didn't feel like they didn't have to test him that often because we know he's good. So he probably could have had it earlier. But this is a guy that anytime the UFC does some sort of event or something in town that's forward-facing in media and they need fighters, he always shows up. And he always shows up. He's in good spirits. He's always willing to talk. So, I mean, like, he is the consummate, like, just professional that the UFC's like, I can count on you to go do what you need to do. And then when he gets in the ring, you know what he's going to do as well. I mean, it was tough seeing him because we weren't even supposed to see him at Media Day, but since he got his jacket, he sat down and we chatted a little bit about, clean athletes and the importance of it. But it's funny because he's like, but on the flip side, because I told him, I was like, it's good to hear about the clean. I was like, but there's some fighters like, as long as I know, I don't care if the guy's juicing. I'll still fight. And he's like, yeah, I'm kind of that same way too. He's like, I appreciate the level playing field, but at the same sense, if I know what's up or whatever, because if I beat that dude that's on the juice, he's like, that just makes it feel even better, or whatever. But he's always been very
candid. That's a Hawaiian right there, bro. He's like, brother, we just scrapping.
He's built different. But to see that fight, I mean, I had picked him to win it. And it partially could be homering for the Vegas thing. I've always liked Anders as well, but to see Anders, just go out and fight he's won, he's lost, he's won, he's lost. He hasn't really had that sort of consistency, but to show up last night and just put on a heck of a performance and then just decide to call it a day, it was a little bit shocking. But then when you hear him talk in the back of, I got all my faculties, I'm not, I want to be able to have conversations with my kids, and I feel like I can do that now, and I'm not having issues. He's like, I've set things in motion, and it was like one of those things where he had, when he got the last 4-fight contract or whatever, he's like, this will make 20. He's like, that's a good number. That's it, But when you see a performance like that, you're like, bro, there's still stuff left in the tank.
Yep.
If you're going to go out there and do that to Tavares, so I was a little surprised. They kind of just caught me off guard because a lot of times you see these cats, you can kind of guess when somebody's nearing that point, and I did not think that was going to be the case for him, but good on him to fucking get a hell of a fight and go out on his own
in
terms.
that way.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but my understanding is Eric, from the time he first got into the UFC, like basically every fight purse that he would get, he would take and like buy a rental property, like invest in real estate, and so that he has like an entire like real estate portfolio that he's making money. And again, when we start talking about these like fighter pay issues and the whole, again, that whole thing, going back to the Joe Silva, this is not a career, it's an opportunity.
Yep.
This is what it means. It's like, bro, understand, you can't make this money forever. Like even if you're lucky and you go into say like your mid 40s maybe, and that's an outlier to be fighting at the highest level into your mid 40s. But let's say you're that guy. You're still done at, let's say, 45. And again, that's best case scenario. You got the rest of your life at that point.
Yep.
You're not going to keep making money off that. You're going to still have needs. So, man, to just have, and I don't know who sent him in that direction. I don't know if it was him and his own wherewithal or somebody gave him some advice, whatever. Now, he did grow up. We could always joke about it, but he did grow up in, like, Division I football system, and maybe that was where he got the education. I'm not sure, but to do that, man, to be investing in property, to be setting yourself up for the next phase of life, man, like that's smart, man. I think more athletes can use advice like that. Like, hey, here's how you set up your tax shelter system, where you're an LLC and you pay yourself, and all the stuff that's not sexy about the sport, not fun about the sport, but it's just very legitimate about here's how you maximize your earnings and also maximize who you're going to be moving forward. Brilliant. I think Eric Anders is a great example of that.
And 20 fights, like you said, I think a lot of fighters, if you get 10 UFC fights, I think you've already kind of like done something absolutely amazing. So anybody that's getting up over that is just incredible. So, good on him to be able to, do that and leave and, kind of go out on his own timing. It's certainly a stark reminder, and I think that's the kind of stuff that, we brought it up to, and one of the things that he said was like, enjoying those moments because, he really made time to focus on it and take these things in. And we started seeing some of the other fighters, and I remember I was carrying that message over to the other guys because some of them were talking about how, they put so much pressure on themselves every time to perform, that they're so caught up that they don't take those times to actually enjoy that moment. And then when you see somebody retire on your card, and we were able to kind of talk about, some of the things that he'd said, because some of the fighters are like, I was really, I was trying to just soak in this moment, because that's the important stuff. And I think more of them should think about that. Obviously you want to think about what's next, keeping your, set yourself up like Eric did, but still enjoy the moment, and try to do whatever. But it's got to be tough because you're getting in a fist fight. You got nerves, you got your gut, you got all this other stuff going on. And then at the same time, we're like, but enjoy that moment.
Right.
Make those memories. And they're like, bro, I'm trying not to shit myself. Like, that's it's a lot. But I think as they do it more and more, maybe it gets easier. But I think more of them probably need to hear that because, I think everyone, especially when they're new, they want to make a splash. They want to cause the ripples. They want to play the heel. They want to do whatever. They want to be the big social media. And a lot of times you get caught up in that where you're playing the character and you're doing whatever. Like, are you truly enjoying this? Because it can end at some point, But I was glad that he was able to, kind of get his thing. But it's still, like, here's another one that we've watched come into the sport and graciously exit, but I guess it's good that it's on his term and it's not the point where we're having a discussion like, Should this be the one?
Right.
He's got the pressure coming in because we've talked about that thousands of times. It feels like somebody's coming in. Oh, he's got the pressure. If he doesn't get this win, it might be about time to hang it up. We never want to talk about somebody leaving. We don't want to be the bad guys and say that somebody should. So when somebody did the planning and leaves on their own terms and then has an amazing fight to like walk off with, amazing. Because he even said, he's like, if I didn't win, I probably would have sat there thinking like, well, do I want to try again or whatever? So he was able to get that.
You want to walk out on the win, so you chase it.
Because that's right. Yep. I'm glad you said that because you remind a point. One of the things he said, I played football at the highest level. Collegiate, at the whatever, but it doesn't get much bigger.
Right.
Bama might as well be a pro team.
I was going to say that's essentially
team.
Pro football.
The rush. He's like, I'm not sure where I'm going to be able to get this feeling again. And he said, while Bama was amazing and playing the college at the highest level, nothing compared to what this was. He's like, you sign that contract and immediately you're starting to get the feels and you got the preparation, the other stuff. He's like, there's no rush like this. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do to fill that gap. And I think that's a very honest assessment. And I think that's why a lot of fighters stay in the game way too long because they don't know how to replace that. And that's why you see people have failed retirement. You work so hard your whole life, and then at some point they're like, well, now you're supposed to retire. You're supposed to stop.
Right.
How do you stop?
Right.
That's, and let alone if you're like an adrenaline guy like this, that you get your rocks off, like getting in a fist fight for our entertainment, like that's a whole different thing. So I know that's one of the big challenges that he's going to have to face, but he's like, maybe I can get the rocks off in coaching and pushing forward. And it doesn't mean he can't compete. I tried telling him, they do the BJJ grappling and stuff. And at first I think he didn't mishear me. He's like, you need to do your homework. Check. I'm quite the grappler. Whatever. I'm like, I'm not saying you can't grapple. I'm saying the UFC has a product. You can still keep competing. You don't have to just walk away from the sport. And I think that might be where he transitions into, and good for him. I think more fighters should do that. Take the head trauma out, but still keep the competitive juices in there, and you can still get some money.
But it's so cool you bring that up because it's funny. I was watching. I don't know when he posted it, but I saw Drew Dober. I don't know if you saw this. Drew Dober did a video kind of about this on Instagram, not talking about post career, but even just talking about post fight, like what that week is like post fight, where you're not preparing for somebody.
Yeah.
You're not getting into this. So it's so great you said it, because I think people, when they talk about retirement or they talk about this, they think about, it's the draw of being in front of a crowd. And yeah, that's part of it.
Sure, it helps.
It's the draw of that money. The money's part of it too. But these people that are doing it at this level, it's that drive for competition. It's that drive for adrenaline. It's that Cowboy Cerrone-esque, dude, I need this on a daily basis. So it's not just being in front of a crowd. It's not just the paycheck that comes along with it. It's just that, that becomes their purpose and who they are. It's hard to walk away from that.
It's almost like we kind of sometimes too. I mean, we do put them up on a pedestal, but a lot of it's about that self-discipline. They, in a sense, when they put on this invisible armor and they go out and do battle, they're like superhuman.
Yep.
They're like superheroes. They go out and they fight and they do amazing feats. It's got to be hard to take that off and put it in the closet and expect that those feelings go away.
Now I'm just a regular dude.
I'm Clark Kent again. I'm not
way to put it.
I'm not Superman anymore. And how do you do that? And not want to jump into that. That's got to be a very, very tough thing. But I mean, again, if you have family and if you have things going on, business is something that you can creatively do it. I think you have a better chance of walking away cleanly. Look at Claudia Gadelha. She's done so good, and she's transitioned. And it's funny because I was asking her the other day, because we were talking about how Wagner Roach is coming out to wrestle Andrew Tackett.
Yeah.
Again, and she said he was 46, but I think Tapology said he was 43. Still, he's mid 40s or early 40s.
Yep.
I was like, so we're seeing older fighters. What about you? Maybe you get back in the cage. And she's like, that Claudia is. Well, I loved it, is gone. This is the new Claudia. I transitioned to the business side of Claudia or whatever. It's still the same person, but she was able to put away that drive or that super. She put the superhuman away, the superhero costume away, and she was able to packily say that was a great time in my life. But now I have the business suit, Claudia. I have the BJJ executive thing, and that's become her world.
Yep.
And now she hasn't. That's enough for her. That she has that drive and passion and she was able to find that. And I think that's what most of these fighters need. after they go through such a crazy rush of all this that their life's been, find that focus. Because if not, then they start getting the lingering. Then they end up doing some other little shit that they maybe like eventually shouldn't do. But so yeah, I mean, I'm glad. Just to take it back to Eric. I mean, I'm so happy that he's got something. But that's going to be a tough challenge. But I really appreciate it, his honesty and his openness to say this is going to be the challenge. This is my new challenge, is to figure out how do I replace that. So I hope he finds it. But man, good on him. 20 fights in the UFC is not a small number. No. I mean, and he should be congratulated on that, because a lot of people don't get one fight, let alone to make it 20. I mean, it's bonkers.
All right, listen, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about the UFC, because I want you had a busy, it's just as busy a week as me. You took a travel as well, and I do want to talk about your experience there. But a couple things I want to mention. Kevin Vallejos, that dude is the real deal.
Real deal.
The real deal. Like,
nobody does that to Emmett like that.
Nobody.
Yep.
And so this kid, I think, has an incredibly bright future.
Yep.
I think he is absolutely the real deal. Jillian Robertson, we obviously love Jillian Robertson.
Love her.
Title fight next? Maybe. It depends.
If not, it should be a contender.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at worst, number one contender fight, but I like that she's calling for it. It would be cool, for, and it is. Man, when you start talking about the body of work, the number of finishes, the number of submissions, the number of wins, like she deserves to at least be in that conversation. Marwan Rahiki, that dude is good,
He's
bro.
Like 23 years old.
That dude is
so. He's a stud.
This is the whole thing, right? Where people are like, "Oh, there's no stars, there's no this, there's no that." I think sometimes, and it's funny. I guess I'll break a little news here. But I was talking yesterday with Josh Thompson. Josh Thompson is going to join our broadcast on March 27th. So he's going to make his CFFC debut in the broadcast booth. It'll be myself and Josh Thompson at our show in Atlantic City. But him and I were we were literally talking about like flight bookings and hotels and getting them booked and all that stuff. But just because we're both MMA lifers, we just start talking about the sport and all this. And I was telling him, like, I think one of the issues, not the issue, I don't know. I feel right now like MMA media and maybe even the MMA fandom to some degree is so focused on covering the business of the sport, and we've mentioned it here, but covering the business of the sport versus the sport itself, right? You know what I mean? So like, there's no stars, there's no this, there's these were not the people I wanted to see on the White House card. This was not this. We're not, all that stuff. Where it's like, why can't we be singing the praises of a dude like Vallejos, who looks like the future, a dude like Rahiki, who looks like the future? This performance was fantastic. And by the way, Harry Hardwick, that dude is a savage. A savage.
That fight was nuts, man. That fight
was
incredible.
Insane. And props to the corner for calling it.
Yep.
Props to everybody involved. It was actually cool. You couldn't pick it up because you're busy and working all this. But the doctor even thanked the corner. He's like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And it's so right, because you can't necessarily assess a broken jaw in the point, because the fighter, I'm good. But
when I heard some, and I thought it was the fight of the night. I thought it was an absolute banger. But I heard some people, they're like, I think it was just an offhand comment, but they were like, I just don't know about giving the fight of the night on somebody that quits in the corner. I was like, he didn't quit.
Quits in the corner?
Oh, or quit on the stool. How are they phrased it? Quit on the stool.
Don't send a dude out there with a broken jaw.
Like, bro, his jaw was broke.
Yeah.
Like, the right thing happened.
Savage.
I was like, I get what you're trying to say, but it wasn't like he was like, oh, I'm too tired, I can't answer the bell. Like, conversation was heard that should have been like, if you're broke, your jaw is broke. Like, bro, no one's gonna fault you. Like, what? You want to like ruin your jaw and make it harder for them to fix?
Right.
It's already fractured. What, you want to fracture it more?
Yeah.
Just for what?
So even
but it was
more
an absolute
surgery,
banger.
even more banger.
Bro, it was there when he took some of those shots and then stood up and then threw back. I was like, this is amazing.
Bro, these two dudes were fighting, man.
I was because up to that point, I thought Tavares Anders. I was like, that's it. And then when I saw this one, I was like, give them everything.
If it wasn't for them, it's
just
Tavares Anders. You know what I mean? But that was amazing.
I mean, you got a broken jaw, you're getting surgery, but you got an extra $100K.
That's nice, man.
That helped a little bit.
I didn't get to watch any of the post-fight stuff because, again, after the fight was over.
Yeah, you're talking to the all post-fight.
Well, that's why I'm talking to you. I haven't met Rahiki. I haven't heard him speak. I mean, obviously, he seems very
he's a sharp kid.
Yeah, seems like a sharp kid. He did a post-fight there and seemed sharp, but you got to actually be in the room with him and talk to him. Dude seems like a sharp cat.
Yeah, I mean, the kid is the real deal. 23 years old. I mean, He was good on the mic. I mean, I think I confused him a couple times, but I confuse myself sometimes. But this is a kid that has just been focused his whole life on his dream of being a mixed martial artist. I mean, this is I think what we've talked about in the past. The sport's been around long enough now that you have these kids that have seen this from day one. Yeah. This is the generation of these just absolute beasts that are starting to come,
bro,
and it's amazing.
And I love that what you just said there. Because Elijah Smith obviously grew up around the sport. Tell me that dude is not a future star or a current star.
Have you watched the post on that?
No.
Well, he walked out to his own song, which I didn't realize he said in the thing. That was his song. He had a Victory cigar,
Solid
his
cigars.
own brand cigar that was there. And he's up there, and he's just talking amazing. I thought he's always been good, and it's so funny. So his dad is sitting there off to the side.
His dad's great.
Gilbert. And, like, at one point he's talking, and Elijah had, like, a little spit right here, and his dad's like – working there, and Elijah's like, "Oh, my dad's telling me I got spit on my, look, I got to fix my shit." I was like, I fucking love this family. But that kid, he fights amazing, and but that's another kid that is literally making the most of his time. Like this is a whole new breed that's coming out right now.
They understand the business side of it. They understand what you do. Again, I get.
Yeah, Elijah's like the next level. It's one thing watching the sport since you've been born, but to have a father that's like helping, shaping you, you're doing all the things that he learned that he should have done that didn't exist at that time.
I get frustrated with the conversations because I get it. Everybody's, they deserve more money. They deserve. Okay, fine, all that.
Yeah.
But you, as the fighter, have to take advantage. Use the platform. You're getting. How else would you get on Paramount Plus? How else would you get the millions of followers that they have on social media? All those things. Use it, and these guys are doing it, man.
So I mean, look at it. Let me just take Elijah Smith for that thing. So he's clearly not making the money like at the top of the game, but yet he can go out and produce his own music that he walks out to. He's got a cigar line that's going on. Like, if you make the right decisions and if you want something bad enough, you find ways to go. Sure, could he have had help, investors, his father, other stuff? But most people might have that opportunity to do the same sort of thing, with the resources around. But still, he had the drive to kind of push for that thing. So, I mean, like, it's amazing. The sport's in good hands with a lot of these cats. But, I mean, like, the fights that we saw last night were great.
Dude, so that's
but Marwan he's top of the list. He's definitely future champ capability if he keeps going. If the trajectory stays as is. It's just ridiculous, dude. 23 years old.
It's crazy. It's a sick division, like I said. I mean, dude, maybe we get Vijayos Rahiki somewhere down the line or whatever for a title. You know what I mean? So Elijah Smith, sick. Manuel Sosa, I had seen Manuel Sosa fight twice in CFFC.
Yep. he
actually went from us to PFL to Bellator, finally got to the UFC through Contender Series. That dude is a savage, bro.
Yep.
And I thought this matchmaking was insane with him and Balaji Oki. Like, you knew it was going to be spectacular.
Like, that was a fun fight while I was there. I mean, that was fun.
Unbelievable. So I think that dude's good. Bia Mesquita, I think Bia Mesquita, I rarely say that somebody is going to be a champion. I usually say I see that person they're going to fight for a title at some point. Because at that point, it just depends on who's the champion, the stylistic matchup, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think Bia Mesquita. I think I can put that tag on her that she's going to be a champion.
Things need to happen. I mean, she's not young.
Right. She doesn't have time on her side.
She's 34. She's 34 years old. I mean, she needs to have things happen. But yes, she is definitely champ capable. But she has to have pieces fall in line. But I mean, the way that she performs.
But that division isn't deep, and that's why I say it. Normally, they
got to keep her active, and they got to keep
at bantamweight. There's 100 dudes on the roster. Sorry, she's bantamweight. I should say men's bantamweight. Yep. There's 100 dudes on the roster. It's hard to navigate yourself. Women's bantamweight is almost like men's heavyweight. There's like 30 people on the roster. You know what I mean? So like she can maneuver pretty quickly up there.
Yeah, and in fact, I was trying to figure out if it was Pierre was the one or if it was.
Because you're high on Pierre, right? Like, and understandably so. Great fight, Pierre's high, but strawweight is way deeper than bantamweight in the women's division. So strawweight, I would say like she has the ability to get there. I just feel like bantamweight, there's so few elite at the top. And I think Bia, while she's a submission ace, sometimes you take these grapplers and it's like, well, that's all. She's an athlete on top of being a grappler. So like to me, she has everything. Will she be outclassed by some strikers? Yes. But I don't think there's so many strikers that she matches up. I think she's going to be a champ.
We just need the division just need to stay active, and I think it was Pierre that said it was like there's people up above that just aren't staying active enough to give the opportunities to those that are down below. But yeah, I mean, Bia, she can get the fights. I mean, she has every bit capable. She's perfect size for that division too. She's super strong, super talented. Yeah, they just need to give her the fights, but she doesn't have as much time as some of these younger girls. Like she needs to be active, and they need to give her some opportunities.
And I guess maybe I should also preface that by saying I don't think Kayla's around that long because I don't. As good as I think Bia is, I think Kayla beats her. I think Kayla's on another level. I think her and Amanda's going to be amazing because of the stylistic matchup. I don't think Bia is capable of beating Kayla right now.
Right.
I don't think Kayla's going to be around that long.
I was going to say, who knows how long? One or two. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, if you're thinking like it's going to take 2 years, I don't know if Kayla's around in 2 years.
So
that's a long time.
That's it. So a year. If you say Kayla's around for 1 fight, 2 fight total, 1 year, 2 year total, then you start looking at the rest of the division. And again, this is I don't want to disrespect anybody here, but I look at Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington, Norma Dumont, Ketla Vieira, Yana Santos, Irene Aldana, Aileen Perez, Carol Hossa, Macy Chasson, Jacqueline Cavalcante. That's the top 10. Could Bia Mesquita beat them?
Half of them easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy. Half of them.
There's
half of them for sure.
None of them that she's outclassed by, right? There's none of them where you're like, bro, there's no chance. Like, no chance. So,
and especially with the size and her, like she's strong. Like, no.
That's it. Not only sometimes you take these jiu-jitsu artists and you realize like they're great at jiu-jitsu, but as far she's got the athletics, she's got the total package. So, all right, listen, great UFC event, very very fun. Enjoyed watching it on TV. You got to do, if you want to watch Cole Coffey, Ken Hathaway doing basically all the all the brothers. By the way, I gave you a shout out on the broadcast?
I did. Yeah. I felt bad because when I was reading the thing, I gave you like the Chinese reading. It's actually Madara Uchiha. Uchiha is the last name. Okay. It's the last name, but we just read it like it was like a Chinese writing.
You gave me an anime thing.
But it was a Naruto. But it's funny because I heard when Michelle was like, "Oh, Naruto," and I was like, I should have just said it was from Naruto and just left it as is. But there were so many characters. But yeah, when he walked out, I was like, "That's badass."
That's funny.
I was like, I know where that's from.
Well, I get to give you a shout out on broadcast.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun.
That was good. All right, so let's talk about outside the UFC because you made a trip too. You had a business trip as well.
Yes.
And honestly, probably as great as the UFC card was, spectacular it was. This was probably the story of the week, right?
It was definitely big news. I mean, because we knew that the fight was happening, Rousey and Carano, and so they finally did the press conference when they got them together. But then right before that happened, they put Francis got announced, and with Philippe Lins and or Felipe, I just always say Philippe.
Philippe Lins, I think.
Which that kind of caught people off. We were just like, wow, he just got released and then immediately got picked up, And it's funny because like. There was always the talk about like Jake and Francis and blah blah blah, and you kind of figured something was going to pop off, but yes, it was about the women. We got there and it was interesting. I mean, there was a lot of buzz. There was a lot of boxing media. There was a lot of like MMA media. I thought we were going to be inside the Intuit Dome. We were sitting outside. So while it was great when we first started, it got sunny. I got a little sunburned by the end. And I was like, oh, gotta love this. But no, it was interesting.
I will say the Intuit Dome is a great location because it's like right next to LAX. Dude, like short little,
like 2 miles down the street. So it only took 25 minutes to get there. It still took a little bit, but no, I'm looking forward to the fight. But it was just great. At the end of the day, it was really cool to see Ronda up there talking, to see Gina up there talking. I thought they were very respectful of each other. I didn't hear. Well, you heard a little bits from Ronda, like how the origins of the fight. She didn't pull out any stupid things like, oh, I thought she looked fat or whatever. I was just like, I thought it was very pleasant. I thought the conversation was good between the two. Obviously, Francis and Philippe didn't have any like real heat. There was that weird fake sort of moment where Jake goes up and asks a question, and then Francis and him would start talking about how they're gonna fight or whatever. I was like, okay, it felt very WWE at that point, but. It was pretty darn cool to see Ronda and Gene up there, you know. Just for what they've done for the sport is really, really cool. And so I'm looking forward to that one. I will be there on the ground for that one to see them fight. But it was even Ronda kind of going in on the UFC a little bit. It wasn't that bad because even when she got questioned about it, she was like made it seem like Dana understands what I'm doing and he's cool with me doing whatever, and like it's at the end of the day it's all love or whatever, and I'm just like, all right, I bet he'll still say a little something else, all right, so a couple things I want to ask you first. Since you're on the ground, you're the media, I'm still in. I think you and I come at this from different perspectives. I mean, you're in the bubble,
but like my life is only the bubble. Like I feel like you have a life outside of the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Mine is only. And so my question is, given the other media, given the public, whatever, what is the Carano awareness? Like, do you think because I still feel like a lot of people don't know who Gina is, but am I wrong in that perspective? Because again, if they're in the bubble, they know because Gina, pioneer, legend. I was talking to Michelle Watterson about this fight. We were talking about Gina Carano and like where she was, because obviously those of us that are lifers, we remember. We have so much respect. She got it on network television. She was willing to take the Cyborg fight, even though that was a hard matchup for her. She was, all these things. But I just wonder. It's been damn near 20 years since she fought. Do people forget her? And then you come back at me and you're like, John, what are you talking about, bro? Like Star Wars and Mandalorian and all that. So
that's it. The people on the outside, the people that aren't in the bubble and remember the MMA stuff have no knowledge of that at all.
So star power is there.
It is, but it's Mandalorian it's been like 5 years, or it's been some time since that, but people know her as an actress, but she was never a big like A-list actor by any means, but people do remember her from that. But I think you're getting the curiosity of people like, oh, this actor who used to fight is going to fight the biggest star of the whatever. So I think people are intrigued, but they're intrigued by just that oddity. They don't have the depth of like, wow, she used to be something, back before the thing was whatever. They don't have that knowledge. That's like for people on the inside of the bubble. Yeah. So I think they're mildly curious. But in their eyes, this is definitely, this is the Ronda
that's what
versus
I figured. Okay.
This other actor person.
That's what I thought. And I guess, and again, it's funny because we're talking about covering the sport versus covering the business of the sport. I mean, this is going to be a big deal. But as far as the fight itself, like it's Ronda all day, right?
Some people I'm really surprised. A lot of even people within the media side, I've heard people sort of saying like, well, maybe the striking will give something or whatever. And I'm like, maybe if she was in prime, but she was okay at the time. I mean, like, I don't go back and say, like, Carano was just knocking chicks out. Like, I don't. I think she was good for the sport at that time because the level of the sport was different than now. Like, if she started her career now from what she was then, now she would not have made it to the level that she made it then.
This to me, and again, man, I have nothing but love for anybody that gets in there and does this. But to me, it's almost like a Hoist Gracie type situation where Hoist Gracie came back against Matt Hughes, and not that Ronda Rousey at this point in her career is Matt Hughes, because that was Matt Hughes in his prime, but still, like, it's generations. You know what I mean? Like, when people always talk about their Mount Rushmore, this is a silly thing, but when people talk about their Mount Rushmore, of MMA or women's MMA or of this division or whatever, I feel like they always just pick like the best four or whatever. I always go back and think, what was Mount Rushmore supposed to be? And if you go back and read the history of Mount Rushmore, it was supposed to represent eras, right? Like, it was supposed to represent eras, not just the top four or whatever. And to me, if you were doing that and you're looking at eras, like, Gina and Ronda aren't even the same era.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, you could have them both on there.
Yep.
Because Gina was one of the precursors.
Yep.
Ronda was the one that brought it into the mainstream. Yep. And then now you have somebody like a Joanna Jacek. Boy, that fight going to the Hall of Fame, that's amazing.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? So I just feel like the game, as you said, the game's kind of passed her by a little bit. So to me, I think it's Ronda all day. Not that, and I'm sure that's
it should be.
I'm sure part of that is people just kind of hammering on the fact that Ronda's striking isn't the best.
Right.
But it's still better than somebody that hasn't fought in 17 years.
That's it. I mean, like, who knows if Gina can just still defend the armbar, because people weren't doing the armbar back then. Yep. Like not Ronda brought
level.
it.
Not that level.
So I mean, it's funny when
that was like step one. Posture up, wrist control, posture up,
turn.
And then
you would lose it. Like, they weren't able to hold on to him. Like, it was just different levels. But it's funny, like, when people. If people are looking at just the two and people are like, oh, Ronda was a pioneer, she brought the fight to the UFC, blah blah blah. When people consider like real pioneers of women in the sport,
Gina's there.
Was a pioneer.
Gina was a pioneer.
That was when it was before it was accepted, before it was ever mainstream or whatever, was fighting with other pioneers. Those are the legit pioneers. And if while some people want to give Ronda the pioneer status, she was not a pioneer in the status like the traditional. When we say somebody's a pioneer in the sport, she helped bring it to the UFC, but she was not one of the people out on the forefront that was like doing it Carano was an inspiration to Ronda. So if you took that right there, you can't have two pioneers.
If Ronda, to me, the more accurate representation, if we're making a comparison, Ronda to women's MMA is Hoist to MMA as a whole, right?
Yep.
Gina was like the valetudo, that didn't get the mainstream. You know what I mean? But they were fighting on the beaches and they were fighting in the ballrooms and they were laying the groundwork for this sport.
And then Hoist just got the credit of bringing it when it was given to the mainstream,
right?
But it was already that's actually pretty good.
That's the way it should be.
That's a pretty good representation.
That's the Pacifico and the whiskey talking right there, bro. That's that birthday insight.
That's a knowledge. But it's funny because people might be like, what's this Valley Dudo? Was that before the UFC? You got to kind of have some inside the bubble knowledge of that. But no, that's a good way of putting it because
you look at Carano's record, man. The names on it. And it's funny again. A lot of these names will mean nothing, but look at her build up to Chris Cyborg. Her debut was against Leticia Pestova. I'll admit I don't know much about her career, but then you go Rosie Sexton, Elena Maxwell, Julie Kedzie, Tanya Evinger, Caitlin Young, Kelly Cobalt. I mean, those were
pioneers.
Those were the pioneers.
Those were pioneers.
Those are the pioneers that were doing it when there was zero idea that you were going to be able to make a living at it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you were doing it legit for the love of the game. Yep. Like I love this stuff so much. This was back in the area where you were watching the Gracie in action tapes or whatever, and the UFC was just starting to become it was just starting to become mainstream, and you didn't think that you were going to be able to do it for a living, but you just did it because you were passionate about it.
That's ultimately I think why a lot of us, I think a lot of us love Carano for that fact. I mean, I love the fact that she was able to transition to the Mandalorian and do the acting. I think that was one of the things that we were like, that's so cool that somebody that gave something so much to a sport that we love was able to transition into something else, because you don't see that often, let alone into something that was very forward-facing, and she was able to build another, sort of, getting that fame and knowledge from something that she wasn't able to get before outside of that little bubble.
And to consider that, had she not been able to do that, she would struggle to make a living and support her family. And
she was okay. Her family was okay.
For anybody that knows, she comes from a very significant stock here in the Las Vegas area. Her family has done incredibly well. And again, I'm not saying that's
oil companies, right?
No, the hotels, brother. A big part of
I thought they had oil.
Is that how they got into it? I didn't even know that.
They had some oil money.
That's how they came into it?
I think so.
That would make sense because her dad was backup quarterback for the Cowboys, so he probably kind of made connections in the oil industry and all that. But now they're very big in the hotel industry. And again, I'm not saying that to take a shot at her. I'm just having fun.
No. Her family was okay.
They've done all right.
At least I thought that her family had ties into some oil stuff. But I figure anybody that has money at some point gets in the oil thing. That was just the thing to do, I imagine. I got all this money. What am I going to do? I'm going to buy oil. Okay, yeah. And then let's build a hotel.
I love it. Speaking of, watch Landman on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
No, it was good. So enjoy the trip out there. It has big fight feel, right?
It was in and out. Just anytime you're doing that on a fight week, when you had to go to the media day the next day, I was like, ugh.
I know.
It was a bit much. I was like, all right, let's do it. And then I got delayed.
Bro, I was going to say, let's peel back the curtain a little bit. You hit me up on Tuesday night, and you were like, bro, are you going to be around? Because I'm sitting in the airport, and I'm not sure I'm going to get back in time.
Yeah.
But
I had people that drove back. And I called them. They're like, bro, we've been back home for a couple hours. I was like, I'm still sitting at the airport watching my thing get delayed. So, yeah, I didn't get home till 10:30 that night or something like that. And I was just
it's been a busy week, man.
I was over it, bro. And then I was like, now I got to go to the Apex tomorrow. I was like, suck it up, Kenny. Suck it up. But, yeah, I was like,
Look at that, man. Rousey Carano coverage, Ngannou coverage.
Which is bonkers.
Straight to the media day.
It's
straight to
at the end of the day,
weigh-ins.
It is such a crazy circus that we're able to do. To think that
such a blessing.
Taking day trip. Let's go on a day trip to watch the presser for Rousey versus Carano. I have 2 fights that I'm working this year, and is as bonkers. Two fights I'm traveling to that I know of. Rousey versus Carano, because it reached that level, and the White House. Those are nuts.
That's nuts.
To think that either one of those was going to be a possibility was not on my bingo card at any point ever.
Amazing.
It's so bonkers, dude.
Amazing.
What a bonkers life.
Do you think there's any chance? Because I'll just put my cards on the table. I believe Ronda beats Carano. I just do.
She should. I think she's going to carry it into the second or third.
Any chance whatsoever that the Cyborg fight becomes a possibility?
I mean, if there's enough money. I mean, I don't think Ronda wants that.
I don't either.
She don't want that. I mean, like, I think she understands that Gina poses no real potential harm to her.
Right.
Even if she takes a couple shots, it's a couple shots.
Yep.
Cyborg still is a very dangerous woman that could literally light her up.
Yep.
She doesn't want that.
I agree. Like, I saw some people treating it as an inevitability. And if you're just, again, let's talk about the business side of things. If you're just looking at the business side of things, hell yeah, it's an inevitability.
Yeah.
Like, bro, she does that, we do this does huge numbers, massive gate. But I'm thinking about it from the Ronda perspective. I don't think she wants that fight.
I mean, I was surprised to see her come back and do this one. So obviously she's getting a big fat paycheck from it. If that's enough for her, she has no reason to do it. But if she wants to and gets this one done and maybe is like, okay, I know what it's going to take to get back into another little fight camp, but a real fight camp for a real opponent. If the money mounts, good. And like they say, hey, we're going to give you like $30 million.
Maybe you do it.
I'll take an ass whipping for $30 million.
That was like the old thing when Mike Tyson was coming up, right? And it was like, bro, would you get in there with Mike Tyson for? And I think back then we were saying like $1 million. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah,
yeah,
I'd do it for $1 million.
$1 million, yeah. Fuck, I'd fought for free. Like $1 million would be pretty good. So no, I mean, like, I don't think she cares about like legacy. Like needs to have that fight. I think she's picking and choosing. I think this is one of those ones. But she's already said she wants to have more kids. I mean, this seems like a one-off. She's gonna get some bag and go and have more babies. And then at that point, I don't think there's any need. She shouldn't have any financial need after this particular one.
I don't think she has financial need now.
Who knows? I know they've been, I mean, I don't know. They expend quite a bit. Having your own little like property with animals and other kind of stuff is not cheap.
Especially if you're not selling it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not actually doing it for commercial, to sell.
I don't know what Travis is doing.
Was he there? Did you see him?
No, he wasn't there. So, I mean, I don't know if he's just stay at home doing whatever. I don't know if he has other things. I don't know if they have an income outside of, like, what she's been able to, like, stockpile.
She made millions.
Yeah, but we've seen, like, I mean, property costs millions, the cost to run stuff. And then if you're not being...
I think she's so frugal, man. Like, I remember... I think they made her... I think the UFC basically made her buy a new car because she had, like, a 20-year-old Honda Civic or something.
Oh, yeah, the old clips when they go back to her house... So you're like, but granted, this is before she became the superstar. But I remember it was just like she looked like it was like the gym, all the gym rats lived together, and it was just, it was amazing. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, could she have been well off? I mean, I don't. It just felt weird to think that like there certainly was an inch like she was like, oh, I need to get that Carano off my list to just know that my legacy's good. Obviously the desire to get money was something, but I mean, maybe she's good and then she just decided why not get it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you've been gone for that long, you think that you're gonna do it because maybe you need it in some way, but maybe not. Maybe she's just purely like, hey, I'm good, but might as well capitalize one last time,
I think it goes back to what you were talking about with like Eric Anders, like too, just that feeling of like getting in there and preparing and the thing about being
and babies
being
get
around
expensive.
the team.
Maybe that's it too.
Babies are expensive too.
She's like, I don't know how many babies. She made it sound like she wanted to have babies. I'm like, all right, you need that money. So who knows? But no, going to Cyborg, I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens. I mean, it would be an intense pay, but maybe it wouldn't even reach the level. I think in the bubble, it would be bigger, obviously, than the Carano fight. But in terms of like having like the populace off to the side, which I think a lot of the Jake Paul fans and a lot of the MVP fans, I think like the Hollywood aspect of Gina Carano, whereas Cyborg, I think all the people that are tuning in because of the Hollywood side probably don't understand or know who Cyborg is. You'd be leaning completely on the in the bubble fans and people that have watched MMA, and so maybe it wouldn't be quite the same buzz. But I mean, it would be fun. I mean, I know I would love to see it, but it'll never happen. But I mean, if it did, she would get one big old paycheck, but it'd be a fight. It'd be a real fight.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. Which would be bigger? Because you laid out. You're in the bubble. It'd be way bigger.
Oh, huge.
The fact that her name is Cyborg would probably help you sell. Like if it was Rousey versus Justino, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like people, but I think if people are like, I just saw this Rousey girl and she's fighting a girl named Cyborg. Like, like.
I mean, the way they sell it and the way MVP, I mean, like Jake and those guys are pretty good at like building up some things and putting a little promo stuff. I'm sure they could put some little stuff about.
I bet the initial interest wouldn't be as big, but I bet by fight night it would be bigger because there's so much history of them talking about each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're just picking two random people out of like nobody ever talked about Rousey fighting Carano. Like I know there's people that try to say that there was never discussion. It was
two different generations.
Again, it was two different eras. Yep. Those two, there was always conversation. They were two different weight classes, and then there was suspensions and all that stuff. But I bet it would be smaller at start and then bigger by fight night because there's so many clips that you could use to build up. Oh my god!
They could literally you could hear Jake going out there and just because he does a pretty good job of selling like the boxers that are underneath him and stuff like that with the wealth of stuff and the fight history of Cyborg. Mm-hmm. It'd be really really easy for him to kind of just say Ronda's fighting literally the baddest woman, the most feared fighter in the world. Blah 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 blah, and then people would buy into it, be like, well, Jake said it. It must be true.
Oh man, too much. All right, listen. We can sit here and keep talking. There was so much. It was a crazy busy week. Sorry that we came to you late, but there really was.
Yeah, this kind of wrapped up because we were going to do an and a half this week, so this was kind of close to the and a half. So and a half. So yeah, we will revisit those. But yeah, we do want to bring those back.
We definitely want to do one. It is kind of fun doing it on a Sunday. It is kind of fun doing it because I feel like the post-fight conversation of what happened last night is better than the pre-fight would have been.
Well, that could be the end of halves on a Sunday. And then we don't want to move our weekly one because people are going to freak out and think that we're going to break the streak. This was a one-off.
Hell no. Streak will never be broken. Streak will never be broken.
And even better is that it was your birthday. That kind of worked out.
And it's my birthday. So speaking of, I got to go home. I'm going to go, it's funny. My wife's like, let me take you here. Let me take you there. Let me take you there.
Aww.
But I'm like, nah. I was like, I cooked some lamb chops a week ago. She's like, these lamb chops were amazing.
Yeah.
I said, go pick up some more lamb chops. I'll cook some lamb chops.
I gotta be in a mood for lamb chops.
Those are rack of lamb.
Do you make you making like a little mint sauce?
No, I don't do all that. Okay. No, I just kind of treat them as almost like a steak. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
I know the mint sauce is traditional and all that.
I think sometimes too, because some lamb can be kind of gamey, and I think people just want something to dip it in. But if you season it up and do whatever,
I do the reverse sear on the pellet grill, bro. Smoke it. Bring the temperature up. Sear it off.
Sexy time now. This is sexy talk.
Pellet grill. Pellet grill. Shout out to my dad that made me. Shout out to my reverse sear.
What you do when you get home? I'm about to reverse sear that shit.
About to reverse sear that ass. You know what I'm saying? What am I doing?
That's the Pacifico and the whiskey talking. I like it.
The pork butt is what I was talking about. That's why.
That's it.
I said, I'm tired. I've had some cocktails, and it's my birthday. So, thanks for listening.